is pardon me, which is the next biggest, is going to be Death and Reborns. These are extremely important, and the two I'm going to hold up, automatically people are going to know exactly what I mean by why this is a specific section. I'm going to hold up the Death of Spider-Man and the Death of Superman. Both of these are some of the saddest comics that are out there, because we get to see heroically these two heroes fight to the death to save the loved ones and to save their, hometown, the earth, and all that. These are fantastic and end exactly the same, unfortunately, with both of them being held in the hands of their loved one as they cry. It's if you haven't read either of these, you have to. I'm waiting for the trade to come out. I gotta go see the trade is out for this one because I want to actually read the whole story behind it with that one. And then, of course, like I said, Rebirths. I did not find my other one. I do have when the original Human Torch comes back to life, but I have this one, so I'm using this. This is when Cyborg is brought back to life when everybody thought he was dead. Other major ones, of course, are going to be, the Return of the Superman, which is a fantastic trade to read, and there's definitely more back there because people keep on coming back to life because, it's something important. That is one thing that makes it nice with, I think it's the Ultimate Universe. I remember reading that when somebody dies, they're gone for good. It's no longer this whole, let's have an alternate dimension come back, or poof, hey, look, that person's back alive. Why not? Or why don't we have all of a sudden he was in a case, and even though his body, let's just look at Superman's return. His body basically goes dormant and regenerates itself, and then comes back to life. Because he's Superman and his body doesn't really can follow the rules on Earth. And that's one thing that makes it nice about that is that, sometimes these rebirths are fun, but it is nice to have things with the Ultimate Universe to where it's final. And this is personally my second favorites out of all of these 11, the different types of comics. Now, the biggest one that I'm going to be talking about is, of course, everybody's favorites, the Versus comics. And these are all out of order, but I'll just go with the first one, which is the biggest one of all, DC versus Marvel comics. This is a keystone comic just because they really go out of their way, and also is what leads into the whole cross-universe thing I was showing you earlier, because they have a whole section of cross-universe characters, because that is what happens within this and help spawn that. There's other really good ones that are out there. I'll be showing a couple more. With the Versus comics, it really is a fun thing because we want to see it, we want to read them, because a lot of them are going to be what if stories. This could have happened. Totally for fun, without question, comics. And these are my number one collected ones I get my hands on whenever there's a crossover fights. Now, I have to make sure I point that out because there is crossover team-ups, crossover fights, and personally, out of the two, crossover fights are the better. Like this one right here, you have Batman Judge Dredd, where Judge Dredd is trying to stop Batman from stopping something. Don't want to give away, but Judge Dredd, yeah. Apparently, even when you read this one, Batman's had to deal with him before and hates his guts. What a surprise. Okay, the next one I have right here is Darkman versus the Army of Darkness. Fantastic one. Absolutely hilarious. Going from there, Darkness versus the Hulk, why not? Two powers of light energy going against each other. Okay, light versus dark, if you even want to call it that, since he does control darkness instead of really light. Fantastic Four versus the X-Men. I even have the older Avengers versus the X-Men. One of my friends is borrowing it right now because it fascinated him from the minute I showed him, so he's now borrowing it to read it. Zombies versus Cheerleaders, a nice comedy one that is actually, the artist lives here in Arizona, and it is a fantastic one if anybody's looking for something quirky and fun to read. Fantastic one. From there, Ghost Rider versus the X-Men. It doesn't say that right here, but that's exactly what happens. I won't give too much away. Then, of course, you have these type of magazines, which we have seen in others as well. This is almost exactly the same as DC versus Marvel. Got some Galaxy guys come in, they take people, like in this one, Wolverine and Sabretooth are forced to work together, and eventually goes insane and try to kill everybody. Just how it happens. Here we got Iron Man versus Psylocke, because they're being forced to do it. Spider-Man versus zombies. I mean, like I said, I really go out of my way to get these. Apocalypse versus Dracula. Now, who thought this up? This is, you have the immortal Beam, who's millions of years old, going against the Prince of Darkness, and already, as you can see right here, Dracula's kicking his butt. Who would have thought the one person who could take out Apocalypse would be Dracula? Then, team versus, which are great. Here's a classic one: Superman versus Lois Lane, where Lois Lane totally beats the crap out of Superman. I'm not going to tell you anything because that's when you have to read. And then, of course, when companies like to do it, this is from Archer Press, Azrael versus Cheetah, where they bring two characters together. And then eventually, okay, the first comic is a versus, and then here, this is, yes, he was running with the fan in Arizona, it's hot. This is a team up one, and the second one, because they had it in it somehow with a team up, otherwise it wouldn't work. And those are my 11 genres, or I shouldn't say genres, story arcs of comics that I feel this is what they are. There are multiple other kinds that are fun to use, but those are called genres. So you're going to have your comedy, your horror, things like that, which makes it fun. But when it comes down to it, you got to remember story arcs are the most important things. And I know people are like, well, what about time travel? What about this, that? Think about it. Each one of those that you're probably thinking of will come here. If there's a specific one that I did not think of, though, leave a comment about it, and I'll be able to see that. And I'll try to decide if that actually falls in what I've already said, or if true you have found one more to add in. There are going to be more that I have not thought about. These are the major 11 that I thought were the basis of what most comics come from. So, I hope you've enjoyed all this. This has just been something fun and something I've been inspired by other friends from the net that, I do a lot of video games, but I should also do another section which I extremely love, which is, as I say, combine it all into one thing, graphic novels. So I hope you guys enjoy. This is T. Sakura saying sayonara and ciao.
Just like you